Good morning. It is the very end of August and I am here just about as far north as you can get in Washington State. Today, to finish out August, I am going to be climbing up to Hannegan Peak here in the Mount Baker Wilderness. This is a summit that is right on the edge of the North Cascades, and it is supposed to be a truly stunning day hike. It is long though. We got 10.5 miles round trip with about 3,200 feet of gain. So it's going to be a good workout, but it is supposed to be gorgeous. We have clear skies. The sun is going to be coming up and lighting up the valley soon. I'm very excited because this is supposed to be beautiful, and I think the mountains are going to be showing off today. But it is cold, so I'm going to get going up this trail to warm up. I'm sure you can see what a spectacular sunrise this has been. I have been moving so slowly because the views on this trail basically start out from the get-go. After about a quarter mile in the woods, you break out into this valley and just this wall of a mountain behind me, and I'm getting glimpses deeper into the North Cascades, but it has been slow going because I've been stopping to take pictures of the changing light, and there's so many incredible rock walls. This is really cool. But yeah, I'm gonna come around a bend in the valley, and I think gonna get a look at some bigger mountains in another half mile or so already. This is so much better than I could have imagined. Woohoo! I made it to Hannegan Pass, and if you can't tell, it's windy. I am behind a tree here trying to shelter from the wind, but made it to Hannegan Pass, and God, the views climbing up here were already otherworldly. I have one more mile to the summit, and the views are about to get panoramic. This is the steepest part of the climb, but it is also the most beautiful, which is crazy given how gorgeous this trail has already been. But we're gonna enjoy a windy climb up to the summit. I made it to the summit of Hannegan Peak, and this view is just insane. Oh, I knew the panoramic views were gonna be good, but gosh, seeing them in person is something else. The tour is going to be long on this one, but just look at that. We got some wind. I'm off the summit. The summit's right behind me. I tagged that and I came further down the ridge, but I mean, look at this. This is incredible. This is just an ocean of peaks. Well, I am going to give the tour because this is just showing off the best the North Cascades has to offer, and hopefully you can hear me over the wind. There are a lot of peaks to point out, so I'm gonna have to do this in two parts, go over the other side of the summit and get the ones on the northeast side. But we're gonna start looking south. This is what we're looking at on the way in most of the way. This is Ruth Mountain, Mount Shuckson, this entire ridge and glacier. And you can see the summit pyramid. It looks so pointy from this angle. And then Mount Baker. It's crazy. I am further north than Mount Baker, which is very close to the border. This is Mount Sifrit, which was the view coming up. This is the valley that I hiked up. I gotta go all the way back down to my car down there. That is Goat Mountain. And then we got the tail end of one of the border peaks. This is more of the Mount Baker Wilderness, and we're getting into the North Cascades, and you can even see a little ways into Canada because we're not too far from the border here. Okay, gotta go back over the summit because this is the summit. Go see the other side, because the other side is where the North Cascades are. All right, here is the view north. We've got more of the Mount Baker Wilderness up into Canada, but here, when we go further east, this is North Cascades National Park. Mount Shuckson is part of North Cascades National Park, and so is Mount Ruth, and right there, that is Icy Peak behind it, and then further on, you can just see so many of the jagged peaks of the North Cascades and all of these complex glaciers. It is just absolutely gorgeous. This is why it's my favorite place. Anytime I'm having a rough time, I know that if I come to the North Cascades, it will be better. And I mean, it just, this, just surrounded by these peaks, it is just a cathedral of nature. It just doesn't feel real. I hope the camera is capturing the scale of these mountains. Like Mount Baker is a 10,000-foot volcano. Mount Shuckson is 9,000 feet. Just the scale of these peaks and just the remote feel. I can't see anything man-made for miles and miles and miles. It's nothing. It's just mountains. And that just makes a lot of things a whole lot better. Yeah, I think this is definitely a new favorite. This is, I don't even have any more words to describe. I'm definitely gonna be doing some art of this, I know that. Coming down off the summit, I mean, I had to drag myself off that summit because this is probably a new top 10 trail for me, and the peaks are mesmerizing, but there is 5 miles and 3,000 feet between me and my car, so I do have to get going. But it's not so bad because basically the entire time I am going to have views of Mount Ruth and then further down the valley, Mount Sifrit, because the views on this trail are pretty open start to finish. So it is going to be a gorgeous descent. And I am also motivated because I left my chocolate in my car. And that was one of my treats. I have food and everything, but I always bring some chocolate as an extra snack, and I left it. So I am going to be going to get my chocolate too. But I'm going to be enjoying these views. Woohoo! And there is no better wind than North Cascades wind. About 1 mile left on this thing, but I'm going to wrap up now. This exceeded every expectation. I did something with this trail that I don't normally do, and I didn't look at too many pictures because I wanted to be surprised. And I definitely was. That just made every turn so much more exciting. And gosh, yeah, this reminded me of Sahale Arm and Cascade Pass in the North Cascades. And I mean, I'm in the North Cascades, so it makes sense they would be similar, but just with the incredible panoramic views. Just every time I come up this far north and get this deep in the wilderness, it just feels like entering a completely different world. And gosh, this is the way to do it. No man-made sounds in any direction, no man-made structures, no cell service, just completely lost in nature. And yeah, I definitely think this is probably gonna be in my new top 10. The views were just amazing. This is exactly what I needed. If I'm ever stressed, I'm just like, well, go to the North Cascades. You'll feel better. Anyway, the trail is actually pretty easy because it just climbs up the valley, and gosh, you don't even have to climb all the way to the peak. You could just do an easy mile or two up the valley and get some amazing views. But the real show is up in that last mile to the peak. But just coming along any stretch of this would absolutely be worth it. My God, getting to see all those mountains up close. Anyway, I have been going on long enough. If I don't stop now, I will probably never stop talking about those mountains. But what a way to close out August. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. And here are my favorite pictures from the trail. And I will see you in September.